this video, we will be talking about indications or signs that a chemical change has taken place. First, let's do a little review. In a physical change, a substance changes its physical appearance but not its composition. Physical changes do not involve a chemical reaction, and the identity of the substance does not change. Physical changes include phase changes like melting and freezing. They also include changes in size and shape, such as when this dough is needed to make bread, or when these cans are crushed, or when wood is chopped or paper is shredded. Physical changes can also involve separating mixtures. For example, these ponds contain salt water. When the water is evaporated off, and this is a physical change, the salt is left over, and it can be harvested for use on our popcorn and French fries and many other things. In chemical changes, however, also called chemical reactions, a substance is transformed into a chemically different substance. The identity of the original substance changes. Chemical changes are not easily reversed, though some can be. Examples of chemical changes include burning wood, cooking an egg, baking cookies, rusting iron, photosynthesis, and many other things. Now let's talk about how you can tell that a chemical change has occurred. There are several signs or indicators that are characteristic of chemical changes. One of these is a change in color. Now, this is not just coloring something with ink or dye or paint. That's a physical change. But what we're looking for is a color change that is unexpected. Here we see colorless lead nitrate reacting with colorless potassium iodide to form this yellow stuff here, which is called a precipitate. Here's another example from everyday life. If you have ever cooked meat, you will notice that the meat starts out red, but eventually it turns to brown as you cook it. This is a chemical change. Another indicator of chemical change is the production of gas, and we see this as bubbles. And here's an example. If you mix vinegar and baking soda together, you will see bubbles, and these bubbles are from carbon dioxide gas, which is being made in the chemical reaction. Odor is another indicator that sometimes signals that a chemical change has happened. One example is when you bake cookies, a very yummy smell comes from the oven. Now, the cookies also taste different from the dough. Temperature change is another indication that a chemical reaction could have occurred. For example, a candle or a fire will produce heat. An ice pack will take away heat and will start to feel cold. This change in temperature indicates that a chemical change may be occurring. The formation of a precipitate is another sign that a chemical change is probably occurring. Precipitates look like tiny particles that fall to the bottom of a test tube. The yellow stuff produced in this lead nitrate potassium iodide reaction is a precipitate. In this other reaction, clear sodium chloride solution is added to a clear silver nitrate solution. The white stuff forming in the test tube is silver chloride, and it falls to the bottom of the test tube as a precipitate. Another sign that a chemical change may be occurring is the production of light. For example, there are chemical reactions occurring in fireworks that produce a lot of light. In this reaction between magnesium metal and oxygen, a very, very bright light is produced. Notice that the fire is just there to get the reaction going, but that bright light is caused by the chemical reaction. Although all of these signs should raise suspicion that a chemical change has occurred, in order to prove a chemical change has occurred, you need to show that at least one new substance has been made. You do this by looking at the properties before and after the change. For example, on the left, you see some firewood. On the right, you see firewood after it has been burnt. You should notice that the properties are very different. In summary, there are several signs that indicate a chemical change may have occurred. These include color change, production of a gas, temperature change, odor, formation of a precipitate, and production of light.